Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Don't mind me here. I'm just studying. I'm studying Japanese for the JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, otherwise known as the Nihongo no Ryoku Shiken. And, I hate studying. I don't want to study. I don't want to keep my nose in a freaking book. I want to play a goddamn video game. I want to rot my brain. But what if we use video games as a way to study? That's a great idea. Therefore, I decided to pick up the new Atelier game, Atelier Lulua for the Nintendo Switch. It's in Japanese. It'd be a great way to practice my Japanese and be playing a video game at the same time. So, let's check it out. Here's a review of Atelier Lulua for the Nintendo Switch. And for my own sanity, I really hope I'm saying the word Atelier right, because otherwise, people will be blowing up my YouTube comments for weeks. Enjoy the review, everybody! Atelier is back on the Nintendo Switch in a new title, Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland. This time with a new hero in Lulua, the daughter of previous Atelier game heroine, Rorona. I popped my Atelier cherry last year when I played Atelier Liddy and Sue, a game that I gave a resounding meh to. I thought that progression in that game was a chore and I just couldn't get into the flow of that title. And I thought that, you know what, maybe that title was a one-off, maybe they would improve on things in a sequel. And that turned to be true. I do enjoy Lulua a bit more than Liddy and Sue, but not by much. Lulua is the fourth part of the Arland trilogy of the Atelier games, following the events of the previous title, Atelier Meluru. Lulua is the daughter of Rorona, a woman who is too busy trying to find Ness's dad from Earthbound. A small town called Arkless is on the verge of being a ghost town thanks to the path of the ancient ruins. Fallen Galaxin, I don't know who comes up with these names, is being blocked off, preventing the town from getting much needed resources. One day, Lulua receives a mysterious book called the Alchemy Riddle, and that book might just hold the key to helping Arkless out and helping Lulua find a purpose in life. Lulua is joined by her best friend Eva, her teacher Piana, the Royal Knight RL. Wait a minute. I really hope this dude isn't sending dick pics to Eva and Lulua. Ficus, a wannabe Gambit, another knight whose name I forgot, and Nico, the pirate, trying to find a new ship. I wonder if he's related to May from Guilty Gear. I should note that this title, much like previous titles, has an in-game time and date system, but from what I've read and played, it doesn't do too much in Lulua. Maybe it has something to do with what ending you get, but I'm not too sure on that one. And do keep in mind that this is the Japanese version we're looking at here, so things might change for the localized release. And do keep in mind that I've only played 2 Atelier games before, including this title, so think of this as a newcomer's perspective on the series. I can boil Atelier Lulua down to 3 points with one major point tying everything together. The Alchemy Riddle is what will guide you through this title. The book has a ton of pages that need filling, and my god, Lulua is going to fill them. Story chapters, skills, recipes, and even hidden areas can be unlocked through the book, so do be prepared to go around Arland collecting materials, crafting goods, getting into battles, and exploring the land. The Alchemy Riddle doesn't give you a direct objective of what to do or any quest markers on the map. It is a riddle after all. You only get a picture that only hints at where you need to go, and maybe some hints that will help you guide you on your way. And some of the objectives can be kind of tricky if you don't know what to do or if you're not familiar with the area of Arland. But I'm also playing this game in Japanese, so what do I know? Quite often I found myself filling in the book just by playing the game, by exploring areas and gathering goods as I normally would in a normal playthrough of a game. And again, there are no objective markers for book missions. If you do get lost or don't know where to go next, the game will give you hints on where to go on the map. If you don't have any hints on the map, well, try solving some of the riddles in the book. The first major point underneath the umbrella of the Alchemy Riddle is the combat. The combat here is no frills, no shills, no chills, no mills, turn-based JRPG goodness. Attack, block, use magic, it's all in the mind. The main thing to worry about here is the break bar. Hit an opponent with enough skills or items and you'll break them, skipping their turn. Think of a more simplified version of the break system in Octopath Traveler. It's possible to keep bad guys in a broken state, but do be careful, bad guys can also break you if you aren't cautious. Though sometimes they don't quite know how to capitalize off of your weakened state. Battles are alright, they get the job done, but they lack that tension that other JRPGs have. Let's change the music here and see what happens.
It's going down. Meet me in the mall. It's going going down. Meet me in the club. It's going down. Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
Well, that didn't work. The more you play, the more you see cutscenes, you can get characters to level up their relationship stats with each other, and when that happens, you can unlock chain attacks to help you out in battle. Do be wary of how close you are to breaking an opponent before you use a skill attack, because sometimes you can use one attack that will break them, but then your skill attack will knock them out of their broken state, giving them their turn again. You can also bring the things Lulua crafts into battle, so you can bring things such as explosives to do area of effect attacks, or curatives to help you keep alive in battle. And that brings me to the other major part of Atelier Lulua, the crafting. Crafting in Lulua is much more streamlined than it was in Lydia and Sue. All you need to do now is throw the ingredients into the pot, mix them together, and ba-bam, you get your goods, and that's how science works, everybody. Of course, when you're cooking, you do need to be aware of the quality of the ingredients that you use.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Except that the pizza here doesn't taste of racism. Using better ingredients means that you can get better gear, stronger equipment, more damaging moves, and when you turn those in to do the side missions, you can get more bang for your buck and more money in return. Another nice feature is that you can make stuff in bulk if you so choose to do so. Alchemy is key to progress in the story of Atelier Lulua, so best be prepared to spend some time in the lab. There is a minor annoyance though. When you make stuff to use in battle, you can't use it right away. You have to set your items in your inventory before you head out into the world. It would be much more fluid if your items would just automatically go into your inventory, and then if your inventory gets too full, then you can choose what you want to or don't want to use in the next battle. Come to think of it, there are a few minor annoyances in this game that really cheesed my whiz. For one, if you make something to help you gather ingredients, like say a fishing rod or a net, you can't use them right away until you equip them from a town. Why do I have to go through another option to use something that's already in my inventory? Doing the side missions can get really annoying as there are no objective markers on the map. I understand why there are no markers for the alchemy riddle, that would just make the game too easy, but why not for the side missions? I guess you could say it's immersive if you want to go that route. And when you do clear things in the alchemy riddle, it isn't truly complete until you read the riddle back at the Atelier. Another thing that I have to say about Gust games is that the character models are stiffer than Mr. Stiff at a stiff parade. The resting pose for everyone is what I would call the Gust pose, as all the Gust games I have played have had characters stand like this. It isn't an intimidating T-pose, but it just looks like characters forgot to put on their deodorant. Seriously, Gust, no one stands like that normally. You look like a freaking jackass if that is your default position of comfort. Third and final pillar of the Atelier game is the story, and this part might be a bit of contention to some. Atelier is a very cutscene and dialogue heavy game, almost to a fault. All the characters have a lot to say, and to Gust's credit, there are some legit funny and heartwarming moments in this game. The voice acting is generally pretty good, but I'm not too fond of Ficus's voice. Go home! The overarching plot in Atelier isn't as engaging as, say, a Persona 5 or Final Fantasy X, but Atelier isn't about that. It's all about the character interactions and just enjoying our time with them, even if Koei Tecmo is too cheap to dub these titles. I will say that, well, no spoilers here, there is something that happens halfway through the game that does motivate you more to see this game to completion, but again, it isn't as engaging as other titles in the JRPG genre. Yo, hold up, I recognize that letter! My biggest problem with Atelier Lulua is that it gets repetitive, fast. Your playthrough of Lulua will go like this: watch cutscenes, cook up stuff in the lab, gather materials, watch more cutscenes, battle, rinse, and repeat. After a while, everything starts to look the same. The color palette is very vibrant, but the textures are super low res and even ugly in spots. Combat gets monotonous unless I needed to grind or if it was for a specific side mission or specific material that I needed. I just started to avoid combat altogether. Going through the long cutscenes got old fast too. I started tuning out of the plot a few hours in just because I wanted to play the game more than see the characters mess around. And now don't get me wrong, I like a good plot. I said good. In other games, characters move, they emote, they help you get hyped up for more action, or cool you down after a long battle. In Atelier, it's just anime characters talking with the camera constantly cutting back and forth because Gus was too cheap to animate the cutscenes. Also, because Koei Tecmo are a bunch of greedy assholes, there's 3 season passes. 3 season passes for a game they release damn near yearly. And they even went as far as to hide previous Atelier heroes behind a paywall, capitalizing off of nostalgia. And come on, How much of a thirsty bastard do you need to be to buy swimsuit DLC for a title like Atelier? For my second Atelier game, Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Ireland, failed to make an impression on me. I do enjoy the characters, the art, the music, and overall laid-back vibe of the game, and hell, I can even praise it for making crafting not a total headache. But at the same time, the DLC practices, the low production value, and the repetitive nature of the title makes Atelier Lulua a hard sell for anyone outside Gust fans. Atelier fans will enjoy this title, but for me and other JRPG fans, there are better JRPGs out there that deserve our attention. Atelier. Perfect. When I was playing Atelier Lulua, I was thinking a lot of Ubisoft games, their modern AAA open-world action games, which is a really weird comparison, but let me explain. Whenever I play a game like, say, a Far Cry or an Assassin's Creed, those games are decent, but they're not particularly memorable. Maybe it's because those games come out yearly, but for me, I don't find them particularly memorable. When I get done with those games, I put them on the shelf, and I never think about them ever again. And that's how I feel about Atelier Lulua. I do enjoy the art, and I did enjoy the music and vibe of this title, but the core structure was kind of monotonous, and it wasn't particularly engaging or memorable. And as a result, I'm going to put it on the shelf and never think about it ever again, much like a modern AAA Ubisoft action game. And then when I think about this game in particular, and other Atelier and Gust games, the production values are really low, there's some really outdated design choices here, and a gratuitous amount of DLC that I have to give Atelier Lulua a 5 out of 10. This is an average game. I was going to give this title a 6 out of 10, the same grade I gave Lydian 2 last year, but there really wasn't any improvements from last year to this year. But really put this game over the edge, for me at least, was the DLC. It's just so desperate. It seems like Gus and Koei Tecmo are just desperately trying to squeeze blood from a stone here and whore out this series for all that it's worth. But you know what? Gus, you guys can do better. Atelier, it deserves better. We, as gamers, deserve better. And I think I'll leave the review at that. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. If you can like the video, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content, hit me up on Patreon if you feel so kind, and wish me good luck on the JLPT. Anyway, I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. I gotta hit the books again. So, later. Take care, everybody.